What's up, YouTube? Got another awesome review for you guys today. I will be talking about my BB1 Pro speed spool that I got last week. Was gonna review it last week for you guys, but you know, life gets in the way and got a really busy work schedule ahead of me. I'm currently in the middle of switching to a new position at my job, so exciting, but keeping me super busy. So here it is, guys. This is the BB1 Pro. Compared to the regular BB1, this does have the external braking adjustments right there, but it also features a line indicator where you can just turn this dial and kind of remind yourself what kind of line you're throwing on this spool, which I don't see myself using it probably ever. Right, so let's go over some of the basic stuffs here. I'm gonna leave some of the basic descriptions over here for you guys to take a look. But okay, let's go into it. I'm just gonna go over some of the nitty gritty, so I don't really have to so I can just get it out of the way. So let me just show you guys again what is this called again? This is called their line recognition speed dial, whatever. F for fluorocarbon, B for braid, M for mono. You can adjust it and have them facing to each of these numbers, which signify the line test that you are throwing on this specific reel. So for example, if I'm going to be throwing braid 30 pounds, I am going to just turn this. Okay, this is going to be a little hard because I don't have a flathead. So I'm going to turn this all the way to, okay, I'm just going to, all the way to braid 30 pounds. So as you can see here, I am now throwing 30-pound braid, which that's what I'm going to be spooling this up with as soon as my braid gets in. This has a 10 bearing system. I'm assuming that's got bearings in these little handlebars because they spin forever, and I'm sure there's a couple more bearings in here because this is just so smooth. Some people complained about this being too smooth, that they kind of lost that sensitive feel to it, but for me, so far, I like it. Over here, the spool, actually, let me pop this out. You got a quick pin right here, the quick release for the side plate right there. I'm going to pull out the spool for you just so we can take a look, because we're going to be going over the braking system next. Over here, we have a small tapped hole in there, so you can just thread your braid in there and tie whatever kind of knot you want, and this pretty much makes it easier for you instead of those that have to tie arbor knots per se. You have a bearing here, which most of my reels don't have, so I'm assuming this is part of the reason why it's so smooth. Okay, let's take a look at the brakes here. This is what Lew's called their advanced centrifugal braking system. So unlike my Shimano's where you can turn them on and off, these are all on. But the interesting fact about them is that if you can see, so right now I have all the brakes facing outwards, and they're numbered for you. They're numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So if you look at 1 and 5 next to each other, you'll notice that 1 sticks out a lot more than the 5. Okay. Now there's a reason for that when we talk about the external braking system that they have here on the side plate, but pretty much 1 comes out the most, and 6 comes out the least. Okay, so 1 would come out the most, 2 would come out a little bit less than 1, 3 would come out a little less than 2, and 4 would come out a little less than 3, so on. You guys get the point. So the thing is, here's the external braking systems. You got 10 different settings here that you can adjust. Now if you take a look here, so right now it's set at free, so 0. I'm going to turn it up to 10, okay? Now I'm not sure if you guys can see, but just follow that brass piece, the brass outer ring, and you'll notice that as I crank this up to 10, that it comes up. Okay. So at 10, it comes out the furthest. Now the theory behind it is that when you crank it up all the way to 10 max, you're gonna put more and more pressure on the brakes that come out the most. So since 1 comes out the most, if you set this to 10, you're gonna have 1 is gonna touch 10 more than it is going to touch anything else. Okay, so that will give you a lot of braking power, and honestly I don't think you're gonna need that much ever. So say, I'm trying to figure out a good way to explain this, but it's you really kind of just have to see it to believe it. So I have this cranked out all the way at 10, and this is 1, so 1 comes out the most. So I'm just gonna press this in, okay? So you can tell that when I pressed it down a little bit, the brass piece, the brass outer ring here pressed down on the 1, and by doing so, it's kind of rubbing this top piece of the brake, okay? And by doing so, you're creating friction. And it's going to do that for all of the rings that pop out. You know? Yeah. Okay, sorry. So this is graphite. It's light. Let me go ahead and put the spool back in. The awesome thing I like about this is that it's got audible clicking spool tension knob, so you guys can hear it. So that's awesome, because you really only get this in really high-end reels, and this kind of like gives you an idea of how much tension you're putting on it. It kind of just gives you that extra cue of what you're doing. You got aluminum star drag here. I am a huge fan of aluminum, but I don't mind graphite because I have graphite reels and I love them just as much. But the feel for aluminum, the quality is it just screams out like, yeah, I'm awesome. Another awesome feature of this is the crank bar. This is actual carbon fiber. It's not a carbon fiber wrap. So it's super lightweight. It definitely adds to the reason why this reel only weighs 6.5. And I'm always a big fan of these paddle grips. You know, just big grips for you to just hold on to and crank them in. So yeah, that's pretty much all the key features that kind of distinguishes this reel from all the other ones. Sorry, I forgot to add that this crank handle is 95 millimeters. It is huge. Let me just show you in comparison to, say, my Corrado. Okay, shit. Let me just show you let's say in comparison to my Corrado, you can tell when I line them up that it is significantly longer. So that just gives you more cranking power for bigger fish. But I haven't really caught anything too big, so hey, it could be a selling or breaking point for you. But for me, this feature is kind of just a luxury. Another interesting fact is that this clutch system is only on one side and not two sides. For example, my LFS right here, as you can tell, it's got cranking, the clutch system it's got a dual clutch bar right here. Whereas this is similar like the Shimano's, where it's just on one side. It's very clicky, it's very responsive. I don't think it's going to give me any issues. So yeah, it feels really solid in general. So like I said, this is my most expensive reel in my arsenal right now. Let me just do a quick comparison of all my reels. Alright, I definitely need a better tripod. Sorry guys. Alright, let me do a quick comparison of all my reels kind of put together. Here, got my LFS. My LFS compared to the BB1, okay? There it is. As you can tell, the BB1 has a bigger profile than the LFS, the LFS Speed Spool. But somehow it's a lot lighter, and I would have to say it's a lot of it's coming from this handlebar being all carbon fiber. Yeah, this is an awesome reel too, guys, so I like it. Let's pair this up with next to my Shimano Corrado. Roughly this, I would say they look about the same. I mean, this has a slimmer profile, but yeah, just a slimmer profile. But this is a little heavier. This is 7.2 or 7.4. Doesn't matter. And then next to my Canon, which I honestly like more than my Corrado, guys. But here it is. This weighs 7.2, and this is an all graphite construction. It doesn't have any aluminum to it, so, but it still feels pretty solid. But yeah, none of these feel as smooth as the BB1 though. Yeah, I like the BB1. So that's just my first initial impressions of it. It's light. It's light. It's got a good, nice feeling when you palm it. It doesn't feel too small, and it doesn't feel too big. Where most people feel like this does look like a big baitcaster, but when you put it in your hands, the ergonomics of it, the way they curved it in the front, it just makes it perfect just to fit in your palms. So like, yeah, it does look a little fatter than most of it, but they trimmed it down where they need it most, and I do feel really confident holding this in my hand. Alright guys, if you have any questions of how I like this reel, let me know. I will, when I have some time, I will take this out and I will fish it a little bit and give you guys an updated impressions of how I think of this. I was supposed to get my 30-pound braid yesterday because I ordered it off Amazon and it didn't come, so I got an email saying sorry for the late delivery, blah blah blah. So I don't think I'm gonna be getting my braid until Monday now, so that is a bummer, but what can you do? Alright guys, thanks for watching. It's always a pleasure making these videos for you guys. I know there's just there's so many products out there, and it's so hard to keep track of what's good and what's not. And there's never just one product kind of just fits one person. I mean, you know, you can have someone will like a BB1 Pro and another would like, I don't know, a Shimano Corrado more. But it's all about laying out the pros and cons of each. But I haven't had any cons of this reel yet. It's just been super smooth. It is light. People say, you know, the price of a baitcaster doesn't really signify the quality of it. But in this case, I definitely think that this was worth the $160 that I spent on it. And so far, I'm pretty happy with just looking at it, feeling it, and just, you know, just pretending I'm fishing with it. So yeah, thanks guys, peace.